Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shana tovah. Shana tovah. Shana tovah to everyone who's watching us on davening on live stream. Another Rosh Hashanah is here. The weather has slightly changed, thank God. It's beautiful outside. It's a taste of fall. It's a taste of an opportunity about change outside in the world, which reflect a change inside of our own hearts and our souls. It's time to come back to the prayers. We're going to open up our Machzorim, the special prayer book for the Yamim Noraim, to page 5. We'll begin with the evening service, of course, also being Shabbat. You're going to have all that rare opportunity to have the special editions in red, so be ready for those. But we're going to daven with a full heart. We're going to just initiate. This is kind of the opening of the doors, of all the gates, open the gates to our hearts internally, to God, to the Torah. It's really touching ourselves in the deepest part, in the deepest way. So we begin together on page 5. We rise together responsively for the Baruch. You may be seated, everyone. Continue now with the first blessing before the Shema, focusing on the gift of creation. Baruch atah melech haolam, Hashem Eloheinu
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו
אמרי ורבי
Amen. Top of page 6, the prayer of God's love, giving the Torah, Ahavat Olam, directly into Shema Yisrael. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavtam. Shoch ben v'chomen
לאהבתך אל תסיר ממני לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו
אוהב עמו ישראל
אמן
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אמן
אתה את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Continue on page 7, the top two paragraphs. וישמעו שמות ישמעו לעבוד נעליך ומחולבכם ותברצכם ביתכם. תרתיעי ספס עליהם תחשב. אז נאמר סדרן אברהם ובניך נבית וכתבתם זה ביתך משנה מאוד בישראל זה מציצים ונראים מציצים זה דרך את כל מצווה אמן אדוני אלוהיכם אמן. Now continue on page 8, Umalchuto, 8 lines from the bottom.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל.
לבנו שירה ושירה רבה כולם מלחמוך באלים אדוני מלחמוך נטר בגודל נורא תהילות סבלת
מלכותך רובניך פוקיים לפני משה זה אלי אנו ואמרו
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר כיפת אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
גאל ישראל.
Amen. Continue now the prayer for peace and shalom, page 9, Hashkivin. Hashkivinu Adonai Shalom, Hamiden Magen HaChaim, V'zeh Shlemecha, talking Tel Kanfechet Hasim, Shimon Atta Kesh.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. We now rise to a special dedication and reminder, holy reminder of Shabbat. The people of Israel shall observe the Shabbat to maintain it as an everlasting covenant through all generations. It's a sign between me and the people of Israel for all time. That in 6 days Adonai made the heavens and the earth, and the 7th day God ceased from work and rested. V'shamru.
ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל עדי לעולם כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינח now on page 10. Sound the shofar on our feast day on the new moon, when it is hidden, for it is Israel's law, a decree of the God of Yaakov.
Tiku v'chodesh tovah v'gesel yom chaginu ki chol Yisrael hu mishpat l'Elohei Yaakov yitgadal v'yitgadash shemer haba v'amod yivrach yirotel v'yamlich balchutei v'chayechon v'yomecho uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael bagala uvizman karim v'imru amen yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam u'al me'araya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitnuma minaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei gudesha brechu leila leila mikol birchata v'shirata tush ve'hana enechem mata tamiran me'alma v'yimeru amen.
So, Chevra, we place our feet together and face the ark, of course, towards Jerusalem, Shalem. Pages 11 through 17 is the silent Amidah. Again, this is one of the few times Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbat. So we have all the special insertions. So if you want to follow the traditional davening in the Machzor, you can add in not only traditional prayers of Rosh Hashanah, but also special for Shabbat. But you know my shtick for those who've been here a lot of years, okay? The Machzor is a spiritual guide. It's like a blueprint. It's not the limits. You don't get extra points for saying every word perfectly, okay? Not that it's terrible. I think it's very powerful what's in here. It's spiritual poetry. There's a lot to offer. It gives you ideas. It gives even me ideas and Jenny ideas like to think and consider in our year. But really, it's a chance for us kind of to look inside and kind of offer our own prayer. Ultimately, it's about offering the prayer that's in your heart. So as you begin this Rosh Hashanah, we're here to celebrate. We're here to be grateful. We've made it to another year. Also holding the fact that some people are not in this year. Some people maybe are not here. They hold us, and kind of our neshama is a little feeling that loss of them as well. We're also here to remember and kind of honor things that we are in our control, and then remember there are things that are outside of our control. What can we be grateful for? What do we yearn for in the year to come? How do we want to improve? That's for your Amidah as well. So begin if you want to follow the traditional prayers, 11 through 17, but of course offer the prayer of your heart.
יעשה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
So here we turn to page 18, and we rise together for Vayechulu Hashamayim, special prayers for Shabbat.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בשבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גונר שמיים וארץ מגן אבות מדברו מחיים מתים במאמרו המלך הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעמוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעין הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת וברש שביעי ומניח בקדושה להעמד ושני עונג זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו רצף במנחתנו קודשנו מצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך שבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו ביאהבה וברצון שבה קודשך ואנוכו ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. May be seated. Kaddish Shalem 19.
יתקטל ויתקדש שמי רבה ועלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביום אחד ובחייתך בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא אמרו אמן תתקבל צלותון ובותון דכל ישראל קדם אבוהון די בשמיא ואמרו אמן יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל לה Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ay na na na, ya na 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 na, ya na na na, ya na 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 na, alala ya la la, ya la la ya la la. Ve'al kol Yisrael vimru, amen.
All right, Jenny. Tov, Shana Tova, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is great to see everybody who's here in person. Everyone that's davening from the cyberspaces or from home, we welcome you as well to a fresh new year. Of course, you know, Gavalt, another new year. COVID cases are rising again. Gavalt, what do you need? We're grateful, though, that everyone's doing the best they can under the circumstances. It's a pleasure to be together, to celebrate a new year. Even with all that's going on in the world and challenges, personal challenges, national challenges, challenges in the state of Israel, challenges throughout the world, Ukraine, and you know, there's even hurricanes going on right now in the Northeast. Various things going on in climate change. This is a challenging time. We're at a crossroads, but we come together for our 19th year here. Please thank God at Beth Meyer. We came here when we were like just barely 21. You know, that's how it was. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here in daven with you all and to help lead. So a little something to hopefully lift you this Rosh Hashanah and maybe talk about at your dinners and over the Chag, over the weekend. So it's a question some of you maybe have never fully thought about. It's so obvious of a question. It's kind of a Talmudic, up your Talmudic yarmulke on, okay? Why does Rosh Hashanah, the new year, come 10 days before Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement? Now you say, Rabbi, you know, you have to put your head on straight. Of course it's obvious because the Torah tells you so, because the Talmud says so. Obviously the new year, this is the way it's done for thousands of years. Okay, I understand. I get it. But if you just take a second to think about it a little bit, right? Rosh Hashanah, a new year, a new slate, starting fresh, kind of letting that last year be in last year. Let's start a new year. And then a new year happens. And then 10 days later, you're saying, oh, yeah, I feel so badly about what happened last year. Shouldn't it make more sense? Put your Talmud hats on, okay? I should first apologize, work it out with God, work it out with other people, work on my own changes, apologies, forgiveness. Yom Kippur should be before the new year. Then you actually start the new year fresh and clean slate. But guys, the rabbis are not idiots, okay? And they know what they're doing. They're not the nudniks of North Raleigh, I like to say, okay? They know what they're doing. So the question is, why did the rabbis, because actually the Torah does not say Rosh Hashanah. Some of you are my Torah scholars. The Torah says Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, yes, in the book of Leviticus. But Rosh Hashanah is not used. It's a later language used in the Talmud. Rosh Hashanah in the Torah is called Yom Teruah, a day of sounding the shofar, and it evolved into Rosh Hashanah. But the bottom line question is, why do the rabbis create this idea of a new year, and then 10 days later apologize or work out what you did last year? Well, I thought it was a new year. So what's the teaching behind this? So, of course, I got to share a little story with you guys, okay? Right? When I came to Beth Meyer, you know, back in the day, before I had gray hair, okay, when I came to Beth Meyer, I had an amazing experience. This is again, one of these things that I just treasure about being a shul rabbi. I know Rabbi Jenny joins me in this, but especially at Beth Meyer, it was so meaningful to me. I was here probably like a year or two, you know, still learning how to be a rabbi, okay, and be a rabbi at Beth Meyer. And a gentleman came into my office, had a meeting with me. I had not met him yet, so I was still getting to know the shul. And he said, Rabbi, I have a big problem, and I'm wondering if you can help me. I said, Okay, well, what's going on? He said, I have a very, very close friend. First of all, I'm a member of the shul for X number of years. My very, very close friend, also been in shul for many, many years. Our families are friends. We've celebrated B'nai Mitzvah together. We've gone on vacation together. We've done everything. And a couple years ago, because we get along so well together, and both of us are entrepreneurs who invest in different kind of business, possibilities, we turned to each other and said, Shmulik, let's make a business together. Let's do it. You have ideas, I have ideas. You have this strength, I have this strength. Let's make a business. Well, at first, it sounded like such a great idea. The business was successful, it was going well, whatever it was. I understood it just enough to be dangerous, okay, of what the business was. But what happened? The tide came in. And what was happening is they started having tsuris. They were fighting with each other. It started with some business disagreements, okay? But next thing you know, this friendship that they had was starting to go down the tubes. And so they came to me and said, we're about one step away from lawyering up, okay? And I thought, I've read these stories back from the shtetl in Eastern Europe, okay? That once in a while, they actually would bring the rabbi in to try to come up with some kind of Solomonic, to use a good term, okay? Solomonic decision. And actually, some of you may know, today still in the more traditional communities, even especially Orthodox, sometimes they actually go and sign a document saying, we will abide by whatever the rabbi decides. I said, no, I wasn't going to do that, don't worry, okay? But I said, I know a little bit, I know this much about counseling, I can help, and I'm not Rabbi Jenny's expertise, but let's try. So the guys talked to each other. They said, let's see with the rabbi. They came to my office, sat down, they sat on opposite parts of the room, okay? And they started to tell their story. One shared his perspective on the business and what's happening and how they need to deal with whatever it's going to be, frankly, closing the business, it sounded like. And the other one gave his perspective on what should be and how they disagreed on the business. And they listened to each other, because I made them, be mensches, okay, and they were mensches. And basically they paraphrased it. Here's what he's saying, here's what he's saying, here's what he's saying. In the end, we had no solutions. But they listened to each other. They were respectful. And in the conversation, both of them said, more important than this business, I sense that our friendship is on the line. In fact, we don't know if our friendship is going to be saved. That's why we're here, so to speak, I'm using my own language here, to try to save it, basically. And what I said to them then is the same thing I'm telling you now about Rosh Hashanah comes before Yom Kippur. What I said to them then was, look, I don't know, I'll pray that your business gets saved. I'll pray even more that your friendship gets saved. But the truth of the matter is neither of one of those things are guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, either way. But what is true is that both of you cared enough about each other to show up in my office. Both of you were respectful enough, even though you disagreed pretty strongly, to sit and respectfully listen to the other person. And you even were willing to paraphrase what they were saying, even though I could tell in your face you were turning red because you didn't agree with what your friend said. But you did that because you were willing to show up. You're willing to face the music. You're willing to hear your business partner and friend say things about your decisions that you were going to disagree with and maybe even thought were upsetting. Rosh Hashanah is the same thing. Before we rush to Yom Kippur and work things out, please God, with each other, with ourselves, the first step is to show up, is to say, this matters to me. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I'm going to try. I'm going to show up. Now, we're in the shul business, so we like showing up at shul, okay? And live stream. But I'm actually not talking just about showing up physically, right? I'm talking about showing up with a full heart and a full soul to say, before I work on all my stuff, all my tsuris, first I have to admit that there's a problem and that I'm willing to work on solving the problem. And over these 10 days, I'm going to, and I encourage you, I've done it before, but I encourage you to consider, after Rosh Hashanah, before Yom Kippur, just take out a thing on your phone or even old school paper and just write down, what do I got to work on this year? What do I need to show up for? In myself, behaviors. What is it going on with other people? What broigas and struggles I got with others? With God, with the Torah, with the world? What do I got to work on? Before I jump to, so to speak, fix it or even apologize or forgive, first I got to show up that I'm willing to do the work. So what am I saying? Why is Rosh Hashanah come before Yom Kippur? It sounds like I have a hole in my head, okay? Because Yom Kippur, you're apologizing for last year? No. Because the Jewish wisdom is, it takes time to work things out. But the first step, you have to agree there's a problem. And you have to show up to do the work. Once you do that, anything's possible. But if you don't think there's a problem, or you don't want to show up, nothing's going to change. I pray all of us here, we have so much challenge in the world, that all of us work on what's going on in the world, society, anti-Semitism. You hear more about this in my drasha tomorrow. Sadly, is on the rise. There are so many challenges. There's also challenges inside our own hearts. There's challenges between people in our shul, but also within families and friendships. Things need to change. Don't run to fix it yet. We got 10 days. First, do the mitzvah, which you are already doing, and I'm proud of you, but keep it going, of showing up. That is the message of Rosh Hashanah. May we all show up with full hearts this year. Amen. Amen. Shana tovah and Shabbat Shalom. We now rise together. We turn to page 24, in our Machzorim for Kiddush of Rosh Hashanah and Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol avromanu mikol lashon v'kidshanu mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava et yom hashabat hazeh v'et yom hazikaron hazeh yom zichron teruah b'ahava mikra kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu bacharta v'otanu kiddashta mikol hamim udvarecha emet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai melech hakol haaretz mekadesh hashabat v'Yisrael v'yom hazikaron.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Remain standing, page 25.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים
ומשתחווים
ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויעשה נשמה.
כן, נקווה לך אדוני לתקן, אנחנו בנבשר.
ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך
be seated, everyone. We now turn to page 26. We invite those in mourning this Rosh Hashanah who are observing a yard site even on Rosh Hashanah, whose custom is to rise for mourners Kaddish. To rise on page 26, Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba.
Amen.
Bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vitadar, vitale, vithalal, shmei kudisha,
B'richu.
Le'ela, le'ela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tushpechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yeshvei tevel v'yimru.
Amen.
Amen. Be seated, everyone. We now turn to page 27, to Psalm 27, a psalm for the repentance season of Elul and really into Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. About 7 lines from the top in bold. Achat sha'alti.
So, of course, we come to Psalm 27 and to Rosh Hashanah with so many hopes and wishes for ourselves, for our dear ones, for the world. And this psalm, which we've been saying traditionally all the way through this month of Elul and leading up now to Tishrei, actually says we ask for only one thing, achat sha'alti, that we should be able to sit in God's house, which is to say, to sit in our own body, each one of us, and also this house, and also your homes, to be where we are, and to be able to experience a quality of Noam, of beauty, of pleasantness, of joy. There's so much to make us sad. There's so much to break our hearts. And so part of what we ask for is there enough? Am I enough that I can just be here exactly as things are and experience the beauty of this life? Achat sha'alti meit Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti meit Adonai. Achat sha'alti ota avakesh. Shivti, shivti, bevet Adonai. Shivti, shivti, kol yemei chayai, lachazon benoam Adonai, ulvaker bechalom, lachazot benoam Adonai, ulvaker bechalom.
Tov, Shana Tova, everyone, Shabbat Shalom. Just a couple quick announcements. So usually after we do announcements, we'll do a closing song, all for a final prayer. And we used to do it before COVID. We actually used to shake people's hands, believe it or not, actually receive people. But Gavalt, that is totally forbidden, according to the Talmud now of today. So we're going to wish you our love from afar, okay? But we're feeling our hearts, and we're missing everybody. So we're sending our love to you as we conclude our service in just a moment. Of course, as our service concludes, tomorrow morning we continue. Other minhagim and things and traditions have evolved at Beth Meyer. At 9 o'clock till 9:45 tomorrow morning, you see in our beautiful, our tent outside, our kind of Abraham and Sarah's tent kind of feel outside in the parking lot. Be a special all ages family service. Everyone is invited who wants to enjoy. Even if you do not have young people in your house right now, it's okay. It's also nachas to have the experience. It's multi-generational. Take place in attendance from 9 to 9:45, and that will be also Zoomed for those who, for various reasons, don't feel comfortable or not able to come to the tent. Then at 10 o'clock, we'll begin our kind of traditional service here in the sanctuary, which of course has live stream going on as well. The second day of Rosh Hashanah, because that is the day we'll not only have morning service, will be a meditation circle in the tent, but that's when we're going to blow the shofar and excite, because the second day of Rosh Hashanah is not Shabbat, so look forward to hearing that on second day, as well as Tashlich on Sunday afternoon. All this you can find and all the information on our High Holy Day booklet and things of that nature. So we'll leave it at that for now. We're going to wrap up our davening with, is it a tone?
Yigdal, page
28, the classic.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ועדת על מציאותו, אחד בן יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אצלו לאחדותו, אין לו דמות עקום ואין עוגון, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר, אשר נברא ראשון בין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שהוא, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחל יפעל ולא ימיר דתו, לעמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע שתערנו, מביט לסוף לדבר בקדמתו, גומל איש חסד ומפעלו, נותן רשנה כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחקקת ישועתו, מתים מיכאל ברוח חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו, מתים מיכאל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, Eloheinu, Elohe kol haolam kulo, O God, the God of our foremothers and our forefathers, the God of all of the universe, of all of the world. On this, the birthday of the world of creation, we ask you, O Holy One, to help us to preserve your world, to do everything in our power to honor all of God's creations, all of your creations, the plants, the animals, the sky, the waters, and all of the human beings, the creatures that walk on this earth. Help us to preserve and honor their lives and the way they live, and to preserve this for all of us and all of humanity and for future generations. Holy One, give your blessings of love and comfort to all those who protect us in our beloved country. Help the United States to preserve its democracy and to recognize always that each person is made in the image of God and deserves dignity. Help do the same in the state of Israel. She too should know peace this year, not one more year, but this year, with her internally and externally, also honoring the democratic nature of its institutions. And all people throughout the world, we hold in our hearts so dearly. God bless those in the Ukraine and other places in Libya, in Morocco, places where suffering is occurring, where people have suffered from natural disasters and sadly from war. Help to teach those leaders that peace is the message of your Torah. And Adonai, in this Rosh Hashanah, the new year, with so much to celebrate and to be grateful for, please hold all those in our holy congregation who are suffering with illnesses and ailments, people who wish they could be here in shul, but sadly are struggling with personal struggles, both struggles we can see and those we can't. People in our congregation who are deeply in mourning, who are feeling the lacking, the absence of people they love dearly. They feel their souls. Give them your extra love and your support. Hold them so close on this Rosh Hashanah. Make it for them as much of a celebration as possible for their souls as well. Adonai oz lamo itein, Adonai Varech et amav Shalom. May God bless our people and all peoples with peace. Shana Tova, Mituga, Shabbat Shalom. We invite you to make your way back to the parking lot.